Hey everyone, it's Emily. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. Today is going to be a very exciting video. In this video, I'm going to be doing my August roundup. This is where I talk about the previous month's puzzles, what I've done, my favorites of the month, maybe some puzzles that didn't quite work out for me or had some room for improvement. So we're gonna go into all that today. And let's just say August was a very puzzle heavy month. I did 41 puzzles, close to 21,000 pieces, and we're just gonna discuss that in today's video. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe if you like puzzle content, and we're just gonna get into this. We're going to start off this video just by mentioning that yes, I am in a random place in my house. I'm sitting here at my kitchen counter, and you have the living room in the background, and you're probably going to see kitties, you're probably going to hear trains. I just wanted to switch it up today. One, I feel like the lighting is really good in this spot, and I just like the puzzle room really needs some cleaning. So we're just here in a cleaner space, and we're going to be discussing the puzzles from last month. And yeah, can we just say, I did a lot of puzzles. I did 41 puzzles for the month, which I did have an event happen in this month, which was the Portland Jigsaw Masters. So I did quite a bit for that event. I also was doing a ton of speed puzzling practice since I am going to Worlds. And then I just did a ton of puzzles just because I wanted to. So we had a lot of puzzles that I did this past month, and there was quite a few different brands. I did 17 different brands. 5 were brand new to me. Maybe I'll do a separate video going forward of like the new brands in my collection that I tried out, but I did try 5 new puzzle brands to me, and I did a lot of Ravensburger, obviously because I am going to Worlds, and that's the brand that's sponsoring the event. So I did, I think, like 13 or 14 just Ravensburger puzzles. Most of them were borrowed from the puzzle library, so I really won't go into too much into depth on those because they were all great. You know, I've done a lot of them in the past, and then the new ones I probably posted on Instagram. So since I did so many puzzles this past month, I'm not talking about all 41 because that'd be way too much, but I'm going to talk about the standouts, the ones that were really great, ones that I absolutely loved, and then the ones that just quite didn't work out or had like something that I want to mention. We're just gonna jump right into all these puzzles. So first up we have is this guy, and I feel like I have very mixed emotions when it comes to this puzzle. This one I did for the individuals finals round at Portland Jigsaw Masters. The brand is Portland Puzzle Company. I will say they're not my favorite as far as brand goes. They have a very shiny finish, which is really difficult if you are doing a speed puzzling competition or if you just have like crazy lighting in your house. It might be hard to see their images because they are very shiny. They also have some fit issues where you think they're the wrong spot, but it actually is the right spot because it is a really snug fit. But then in other cases, like a few of them kind of work together because they're a little bit on the squishy side, so you can kind of like maneuver them into the wrong spot. So it can be quite tricky. As far as the image goes though, it's stunning. All the puzzles that I saw from them are beautiful images. So I feel like they're taking our input into account, and hopefully we can see their improvement over time because I want them to work out. They're such a small, independently owned, small business. You know, I want them to do well, so I hope they take all the criticism and all the feedback to heart and improve their product. The next one I have here is by Pomegranate. The artist is Aaron E. Hunter. This is called Floral Compass. I won't go into too much detail because I did this one as a puzzle with me. It's a long form video. It took me about 3 hours to do, and I loved this image so much. It's so beautiful. I thought it was going to be harder than it was, and it was kind of hard getting into it because I just didn't know where to start. And you guys saw this on the video where I was going to start with purple flowers, and then I decided to go with the blue areas, and then I kind of made a system to make it work. If you're new to this style of puzzle from them, they are phenomenal. This is my 3rd one that I've done where it's their circular images, and they have such a great fit. You can pick up the whole thing with like one hand. It's absolutely beautiful. They have a 6-sided puzzle piece, so they're hexagon style puzzle pieces, which is kind of fun, you know, something different, and they're just beautiful. I love them, and definitely a line of their puzzles that I've definitely piqued an interest in. Next up we have is Waves by Cloudberries, and I just want to be completely transparent. I am working with them now, and this one was gifted to me, but that doesn't alter my information to you whatsoever because I would much rather be truthful to you than try to like be sweet to a brand. I don't know if that makes sense, but I did this one. I actually did Cascade a long time ago. It was a 500-piece version of something similar where it's a very similar concept, but it's different colors. So it's pretty comparable as far as the image goes. So I knew I was going to love this one, and I did. It was super fun, very quick. I will say the sorting takes a while because I wanted to sort in a particular way where I was doing the puzzle from like left to right or right to left. And so I wanted to sort it a very specific way. And so it took me a very long time to sort, but once that was done, it was so easy and breezy to get through this puzzle. There were a couple pieces that did end up being out of place, but I could easily see that that was the wrong color. So it does have like, I want to say a looser fit, but not really. I feel like it's just me trying to force a puzzle piece in the wrong spot. I hope that makes sense. But it ended up going together perfectly fine. I only had that on occasion, and the colors were super fun, and it is actually a good fit because I could like do a pickup challenge if I wanted to, but it did have some issues as far as like putting pieces in the wrong place a couple times. Coloring wise, it was beautiful. It was bright, colorful, matte. I really enjoyed it. So I definitely think this is one of my favorites of the month. It was just like, it was a good time, you know, I liked it a lot. Next up, we have one that is pricey, and I'm gonna preface that by saying that right now. It is a pricey brand, and it's one of those like wish list brands. I have bought a couple in the past. This one was gifted to me, which is called Quilt by Sooness, but it is one of those brands that for me, I may save up my puzzle budget for like a whole month just to get one because it is such a good experience and the artwork is stunning. So this one here is by Soon herself. Soon Chu is the owner of the brand, and she did a collection of like very bright, colorful puzzles. She gifted this to me when I did a blog post for her, and I loved it. This puzzle was so good. I had done Prism earlier this year, which I had purchased myself, and I thought that was going to be one of my favorites of the year, which it definitely still is, but this one, for some reason, I flew through it. It took me like 3 hours. It was so quick. I ended up doing it by color, so I think I started it with the yellow pieces, and I did all the yellow, then I did all the pink, and then I did all the orange. And so it was really easy to see where things were because there was a very distinct pattern that I was looking for, and it was so quick. I loved it. So bright, had a beautiful fit. A couple of you have mentioned that it might be hard to take apart the puzzle afterwards because the fit is quite extensive. I didn't have that issue. I just did it very slowly and I was able to take apart the puzzle fine without any casualties. So I just want to be honest about that. But as far as the experience goes, it's beautiful. I love the puzzle pieces. They're nice, matte, have that like linen-y texture. They're all kind of like a little bit wonky. Some are really massive puzzle pieces. Some are a little bit on the smaller side. It's just like makes it interesting and fun. They also have a few other extras in there, like they have a paper bag for the pieces. They have a poster as well as a postcard. So it is expensive. I like it. I feel like it's a great gift option. Like if you are wanting to find a brand to put on your Christmas wish list, ooh, I got mascara at my eye. Or maybe you want to get a gift for a puzzler and you want to find something like really special. I feel like this is a good brand to look at because it just feels nice and I like it, and it is expensive and it depends on your budget and whether or not you want to have the artwork or not, or whether or not you think it's worth it. I really like it. I am very choosy of which ones I would consider purchasing. There are a few that have been on my wish list for a while, and it's just one of those instances where like if someone asked what I wanted for Christmas or wanted for my birthday, like I would probably suggest one of these puzzles because there are quite a few that I love, but it's hard to use my own budget to purchase them. So I hope that makes sense. I know it's a pricey brand, but they are beautiful. I will say that. Next up, we have an oldie but a goodie. I've talked about it a ton, but I couldn't do this video without mentioning it because it is one of my favorite puzzles of all time, and that is Ravensburger's Artist Palette. It's one of the only, it's just like one of those puzzles that just like stands out. I did it speed puzzling. I did get under an hour, which I'm so happy with. It was just like squeaking by it by seconds, but you know what? It's my new record and I'm so excited for it. This one is beautiful, it's fun, it's colorful. This one is very beginner friendly. This one and Needlework Station are some of my favorite puzzles. They're both brought by Lars Stewart, which is the husband of Amy Stewart. I just love the concept, I love the coloring, and it's just like, I love it so much, it's so fun. Next, we have another pile, and this one here is by Wentworth. I did quite a few Wentworths this month, and this is definitely my standout, although all of them were lovely, but I can't talk about every single Wentworth that comes my way. This one here is called Puzzling Pumpkin. The artist is Hello Angel, and it's 200 pieces. It's part of their extra difficult line because they have a vine cut. So instead of having like the whimsies and like the little cute figurines, this one, it all just looks like like a vine. It's kind of cool. I love how they're like swirly and they kind of like go inside of each other. It can be quite tricky, especially since you have like this huge area of orange. But if you can see the patterns and the different concepts that are happening inside, it is very doable. I actually did this like 3 times this month. I loved it so much. It is beautiful, and it definitely gives me like fall vibes, and it's just like, oh, I love it. I love it. I don't have words today other than I like these puzzles, you know? So there's that. But I really truly enjoyed this puzzle. If you're looking for a good fall one, it like hits all the boxes, and you can do it like any time of month in the fall. I mean, you can do any puzzle anytime, which I've mentioned before, but it's kind of one of those things like sometimes only certain puzzles work in like October and November. This one you can just do like the whole autumn season and it would work out. So this one is beautiful. I loved it. I also like that it was a shaped puzzle. That was kind of fun. Moving on, we have a miss for me. This one is by Portland Puzzle Company, and this one is where I definitely saw some issues as far as quality goes. The other one, I was able to look by it. Like a lot of the issues I noticed were also in this one. I will say the coloring, stunning. It is a beautiful puzzle at the end. We did have a lot of issues with the fit, especially on this border. Everything fit together. That was the last little bit that we did because we could not figure it out. We also had quite a few places where puzzle pieces were in the wrong spot. We also had some puzzle pieces that we didn't know where the puzzle piece was, but we tried the same piece like 6 times, but you had to like force it in to make it work. I just want this brand to work out so well, but I hope they improve, because for me, this one, I love the image and the experience and like puzzling with friends, but it had some faults. So just being honest on that guy. Moving on to another one that I want to love. I want to love this one, and I just am mentioning this one because it is very popular right now because it's one of their newer releases by Ravensburger, and this is Classic Sonic. The image is so much fun, but I will say the image is much harder than you expect. I did this one as a speed round, and I did I just squeak by or did I just miss it? I forget the timing, but it is way harder than I was expecting. I thought it was like bright and colorful and fun, but it's like an old school video game. So you just see like the little pixels, and that's what you see on the puzzle pieces. So it is very dizzying when you're doing this puzzle. So I feel like if you have issues with textures, or like those times when you're looking at a puzzle piece and you feel like it's not printed correctly because it has like those little pixels, it's kind of like that, but it's actually the image. Like the images are little pixels, so it can be dizzying and could give you a headache, and it wasn't my favorite. I did like the final result, you know, it was super fun. I did have a cousin that had the Sonic game when I was younger. We didn't have electricity, but my cousin did, and she had this game. So I do remember playing it when I was younger, but this one, I don't know, I want to love it. I think I would have preferred it if it was just like the image and not necessarily like trying to mimic the game, if that makes sense. So I liked it. Wasn't my favorite, but just wanted to mention it. Another classic, which I'm mentioning it here in case you can ever find it, is one of my favorite puzzles of all time, but it's discontinued, and I do it on occasion. I think I've done it 3 or 4 times now, and it is by New York Puzzle Company. It's called Mr. Fly. If you can find this on eBay, or if you happen to see it at like a thrift store or some secondhand seller and it's not too crazy pricey, it's such a fun puzzle. I love it. It's quirky, it's weird. It's part of their NPR line where you just have Mr. Fly riding on a bicycle with his little radio playing NPR. We have this snail with some pearls, and we have some butterflies. It's just weird. It's a weird puzzle. I love it. And it's just like such good, I love it so much. It's like one of those puzzle pieces where they're mostly correct, but they're not. And so they have like some traditional puzzle piece shapes, and then they have some that are a little bit off. So it's like, if you're wanting to dip your toes into like whimsy pieces where it's more of like that crazy style of cut, it might be a good one to go to because it's kind of like a mix of both, and it's not too wild. So I liked it a lot. If you can find it, I would recommend it. Next up, we have another one that I liked, didn't love. And so this is by Pomegranate, but it's one of their older lines. So they have their new rebranding, which is similar to the circular puzzle and also the one that I'll be speaking to next. So you can clearly see the different boxes. This one here is like their older one because you have like the white border, you have like the little corner over here. So you know this is one of their older images. I am not a huge fan of their older stuff. I want to because their images are beautiful and I have done several in the past, but I have had mixed experiences, especially when it comes to fit. And I noticed this with this one. This is my individual prelim when I was at the event. A few others also mentioned their frustrations as well. The image is fine, it's cute. You know, you have like these little kitties with their little instruments playing a little concert in front of these other kitties. And it's a fun image. It's a little bit muted as far as coloring goes, so not my favorite, but it definitely had some fit issues, especially along this border. I feel like every single person I talked to had issues with this border where everything kind of fit together. And even areas over here with this border, you have several of the branches and you're not quite sure where they go until like the very end. And those ones kind of all fit in order. So you're kind of like building something in the wrong spot and then you're like, oh wait, never mind, you have to like move everything. So it was kind of frustrating, and I had that experience previously with other pomegranates, which one thing I do like about this one though is that the pieces are chunky. Oh my gosh, their 300 piece puzzles are like thick and large and in charge. If you have gripping issues, this is a beautiful brand to try for their 300 pieces. I did Pool Cat, which I gave away a long time ago. I kind of regret it because I loved that puzzle. So it's very similar texture where they're just like big, chunky, thick pieces, and I love it. But this one definitely has some fit issues, so I wanted to bring that up in case you've tried pomegranate in the past, but it had this style of box. You might be surprised with some of their newer stuff because the newer stuff is lovely. I've done several already, and I feel like it's like completely different. I love the quality of their new stuff. Which, speaking, we're talking about one of my favorites of the month, which is this guy here called LA Liberty. Also by Pomegranate, also from the event. I've talked about it a couple times, and this one was just like so much fun. It's so bright, it's so colorful, there's so much stuff to work with. You know, it's kind of like if you like those blocked colors, this is definitely a good puzzle to go with. I did not do much of the pattern section. That is what my partner did. I did the exterior where it's all like these crazy colors in order, and I loved it so much. I really enjoyed this puzzle a lot, and the quality of this one was beautiful. We ended up doing a pickup challenge at the end. We did not finish during the 2 hours, but we were very, very close, and I really love this image a lot. It's just like the coloring is stunning. We didn't have any puzzle pieces out of place, like everything worked out. I love this one so much, so definitely a hit for me. So those are the puzzles I wanted to speak on this month. So far for the year, I've hit over 200 puzzles. That's what happened in August as well, as I did hit my 200th puzzle, which ended up being Waves by Cloudberries. And that is absolutely wild. Like, that's the most puzzles I've ever done in my life. So I just have been doing so much puzzling lately, and if you are curious of what I'm working on, feel free to check me out over on Instagram. I try to update you on stories, or maybe if you want to follow me on Patreon, I do have some free content over there as well as paid content where I kind of discuss some more in-depth stuff as well. But that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would love to know one of your favorites of the month. Let me know down in the comments. I'm always interested in knowing which puzzles you guys are interested in and doing, because that usually helps gear my wish list even more. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you are doing well. Make sure to stay safe and have fun and happy puzzling. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.